Hey folks, welcome back to Survival Challenge. Today we have hit the jackpot. The fertilizer spreader is on sale, used at the store. Yes. So brought that. I'm going to get a couple of bags of fertilizer because that's all we can afford. And we're going to run some fertilizer contracts. Hopefully we can make some money. There are some big numbers there, 15,000 euro contracts. This should set us up very nicely. This is the bit that I mentioned that reminds me a lot of my very first series, which was on a little Polish map called Bokwa, something like that, where I started off with the little old grey Massey, and I spent a lot of time running fertilising contracts because we couldn't afford very much. That was a bit of a survival series as well, but didn't have the forestry element. So first contract underway, time to make some money, hopefully. Yeah. The other thing that we are going to get into today, as you will have seen from the thumbnail, is we're going to try and buy ourselves a mower and a baler and cut some of the mountain of grass that we have. That's going to be a bit of a pain because so 3,500 euros from that contract, so we can buy another couple of bags of fertilizer and get going on the next one. We do eventually start making a profit. Just need to build up a bit of capital to get some fertilizer in the spreader. And I didn't see that car coming at all. Weather's turned a bit, but yeah, it's not going to rain for long, so we will crack on and keep earning money. Yeah, so we're going to get into mowing some of the mountain of grass that we have. It's a bit of a pain because we still have lots of trees and lots of tree stumps, but yeah, it's worth a try, see if we can make a bit of money. On to fertilising field 12 now. Tiny field with the spread width on this spread is 42 meters. What I hadn't realised, which some of you are probably screaming at the screen, is you can make it smaller for narrow fields like this, so you would have saved a bit of money on wasted fertiliser. But up to 17,000 euros again now. Got my eye on the one of the front mowers. We're going to run it on the back, obviously, because we don't have a front 3.4 PTO. We're going to get a few more fertilising contracts done and then get into that. This is the last of this batch of Survival Challenge videos I recorded at my parents', so it's the last one where we don't have a nice intro of me doing a bit of work, not in time-lapse mode. So the next one of these, we go back to my now standard style of a bit of an introduction, a bit of work, and then a time-lapse. Yeah, this would have been a great time to reduce the spread width, save a bit of fertiliser. Onto one of the big fields now, near the top of the map, I think. One of the nice things about doing contracts, you may or may not agree, is I get to explore a lot of the map doing this. Look for potential sites for a future farm, maybe. Actually, that's up near the lumber mill, where we've been quite a lot. Heading across the railway now to this little field here. Not very big, so it shouldn't take us too long to get through. So doing all of these after the first episode, before the second episode has dropped. The first episode seems to have gone down quite well, so hopefully these will keep going. Obviously the last few haven't had the introduction on them. Hopefully that hasn't put people off too much. I think this is our last contract, field 25, which is a bit of a random one because you have to drive a long way around the railway line to avoid it. Let's buy a mower. This nice little front mower for 9,500 euros. I think it's a 3.5 meter working width. So let's do some mowing. I'm going to mow as much as I can easily get to and see. I'm not too worried whether I've cut the trees or not. We'll just work around them, get as much grass as we can. Obviously, we would make a lot more if we could afford a tedder to ted the grass into hay, or if we could bale it and wrap it into silage, or we had a pit that we could put it in to make silage, but we don't have either of those. And buying the baler is pretty much going to wipe us out. So I'm not even going to buy a windrower. I'm just going to drive around and do a lot of laps to pick up the sort of windrow that this front mower leaves. In hindsight, I think this was probably the wrong move, mainly because it was a pain in the arse and a lot of work. The main problem was the small, massive baler that I'm going to be buying shortly, which I forgot to record, as you do. 22,000 euro baler, you've seen loads of people buy that thing. it's the baler that most people are using at the start of their series. It makes 500 litre bales. We've mown a big chunk of this rather large piece of land that we own. We're going to get a lot of bales that I have to hand load into the pickup and the trailer. Yeah, I didn't enjoy this, to be honest, and I'm not going to be doing it again until we can get a bigger baler. We spent quite a bit of money and we don't really make it back, if I'm honest. I'm going to keep the baler because the depreciation on FS22 is horrendous, and we lose something like $7,500 just on the baler depreciation for the bit of time that we use it, which is not great. So because I'm looking at getting sheep potentially, or chickens, if we get sheep, we'll need to make bales of hay to feed them. So that's my plan. We'll keep this baler for that until we can pick up a better option in the future. But I am not going to be doing this again. And there's not a wrapper for these, so you can't even buy a wrapper yet to wrap them to make small silage bales, which would be worth something. And there's a 14 bale auto stacker for this, but it's about 60 grand. And yeah, if we can afford to buy that, we can afford to buy a baler that makes real size bales. You can see I cut quite a lot of grass. I did record some of it. Well, I thought I did. I forgot to turn OBS on. Same as with buying the baler. So yeah, didn't get to see much of that. And it's quite hard to record the baling through the trees. So doing a few slow-mo. Well, they're not slow-mo, they're not sped up, which makes it look really slow compared to the time lapse. Pretty much done, I think, with the baling at this point. There's lots of it, and yeah, the number plate is a baler. It amused me. Yeah, you've got to have a bit of fun where you can, particularly on something like this where we have made, I think it was 180 of these little bloody bales we've got to sort out. So let's get the pickup and make a start. So bale physics is better, I think. I managed to neatly stack the whole trailer and pickup, and then I saved the game. That was a bad idea, because when I reloaded, you'll see in a moment the mess that I ended up taking to the store, which was not good. But yeah, you can get about 13 bales per layer on this trailer, and I found that stacking it more than about 4 high got a bit unstable and a bit buggy with all the physics interactions. So that's what I was doing, and then I could get a fair few in the back of the pickup as well, with a little bit of thinking about how to mainly you have to get around the fact the wheel arches are in the bed, so if you put a bale in between those, you can then stack quite nicely in the back of the pickup. Yeah, so this is the mess we ended up taking up the first time. I had neatly stacked 5 layers in the back of this trailer, and yeah, it all went nuts, and I left some of them behind. I just strapped down what I could and drove to the store, and we made €3,000 from that first load. Another 4,000, bearing in mind we've spent the best part of €30,000 getting set up for this. And I didn't expect to make a profit the first time round, but you know, it would have been nice to not lose so much money. Last load going to the store. Thanks for watching, folks. Like, subscribe, comment. Sorry for the rants.